I really love this program, and as another member of Illinois Corn, another staff member, I just think it's so important that our farmers really understand that this PCM program was created by farmers to address a problem. And so farmers are treated really as a priority as a member of the PCM project. We've broken this show up into two parts, so let's get started with part one. It's our featured interview with Greg Goodwin. Greg is the director of the Precision Conservation Management Program here at Illinois Corn, also called PCM. This week, we talked all about PCM, and Greg was able to share with us how PCM works with farmers to help implement new conservation practices on their farm. They assess their land, they analyze their data, and they recommend what's going to work for each farmer, focused on the financial aspects of the family farm. So let's jump into the interview. Hi, Greg. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you today, Lindsay?
Great. Thank you so much for joining me here to help our farmers who are tuned into Illinois Corn really understand precision conservation management. So I guess that is my first question. We usually call it PCM around here. Tell us what PCM is and what it does for farmers.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, PCM, Precision Conservation Management, is essentially a farmer service program where we are trying to help farmers understand the economics and sustainability of their in-field management decisions. So we're trying to basically help farmers examine this on a field-by-field basis. So when you agree to sign up with PCM, we do ask that you share your management information on a pass-by-pass basis for whatever fields you're willing to enroll. And we do ask for 20% of your field enrollment at sign-up. And so, yeah, we're really trying to help you understand how your management strategy stacks up against others, both at a regional scale and a state level, and then also how you stack up against yourself in time.
I have heard you talk a little bit about sharing data, and I think that's always that's a scary thing. Talk to our farmers who are watching today. Like, what does that look like at PCM? You mentioned that you take data security really seriously. Talk to us a little bit about how the data is used and collected.
Yeah, so every piece of information a farmer gives us basically goes into what we call our farmer portal. And we have a fantastic data partner, Heartland Science and Technology Group, that has helped us build and operate our farmer portal. And basically, once information goes into that portal, the farmer's personal identification associated with their data is sort of scrubbed and turned into a 16-digit code. And then, folks that work with the data in the aggregated anonymized way, are not really looking at individual farmer names. They're just seeing, field level data and that management information associated with that code. And then that's rolled up into, reports that we do provide publicly, but again, in an anonymized and aggregated fashion so that we can help show the broader set of farmers out there who don't work with us one-on-one, what the average cost of some of these practices are and things like that, and the average economics of different management strategies. And so we do have the goal, by virtue of being connected to the commodity organizations through the funding they provide PCM, to try to help provide value to every farmer that pays into our checkoffs. And so that's how we justify and navigate that piece of it. And so again, never sharing any individual farmer information, but it is important for those who participate to be aware that your average data, or the average data of all the farmer participants, will be communicated out broadly. And we do very much thank all the cooperating farmers for being willing to do that. But yeah, we do take that all very, very seriously.
And so if you are not a farmer who's in PCM, where would you kind of find this data or recommendations or the information that you're able to share from the farmers who are enrolled in the program?
Yeah, great question. So every year in June, we release a data publication called The Business Case for Conservation, and that is provided in hard copies through Prairie Farmer Magazine. So that's a data insert into that magazine in the June edition, and that kind of provides a breakdown of the 25% most profitable farms like in our program. And again, we're truly trying to uncover, what these most profitable farmers are doing, and help others understand that so they can maybe consider management decisions that may make them more profitable. And we really do try to preach, farm for profitability instead of farming for yield. We think that's the right approach and helps farmers be efficient in the use of their fertilizer and with tillage decisions and things like that. And so that's when and what we communicate in that publication. This year, for the first time ever in our the March Prairie Farmer magazine, we did release a publication around cover crop management. And again, took a very similar approach. We're trying to just help farmers understand what some of the most profitable cover crop farmers are doing. We know that can be kind of a scary practice for farmers to adopt and really a system. And so how do you navigate all of that? We hear there's a lot of push for this from various entities, both from the environmental side and others. And we're, again, trying to help farmers navigate that and really avoid management missteps with respect to cover crop adoption. So please do check that out. All of our stuff is also available in digital format through our website. So after we release these publications in hard copy, we also make a digital version available. And you can find that at our website, precisionconservation.org.
Great. We'll be sure to pop that up on the screen or include that in the comments for people to get plugged in. And then excitingly, a new report, June 2024. So that'll be great. We'll be looking for that.
Now it's time for Just the Facts with Illinois Corn Interns, brought to you by PCM. Did you know 96% of farms in Illinois are family-owned? 99% of corn grown in Illinois is field or dent corn, and 50% of field corn that's grown in Illinois is exported out of state. This has been Just the Facts with the Interns. Now back to the show.
Explain to me and to our listeners, we've talked about the nutrient loss reduction strategy before on Illinois Corn TV. How is PCM addressing what the nutrient loss reduction strategy goals are requiring of farmers?
Yeah, so that is literally why Illinois Corn made the decision to start this program in the beginning, was to try to provide another set of resources to farmers to understand, again, the economics of those decisions. So, if you go and look at the nutrient loss reduction strategy, it's recommending, how many practices that we need to see adopted at a state level in order to curtail the nutrient loss issues for the state. And so what we're trying to do is really focus in on all those in-field practices that are in that report. Our philosophy is sort of geared around, if you're trying to mitigate nutrient loss at the edge of the field, then those nutrients are no longer able to work for you, to produce your cash crop. And so our goal is to try to keep them where they're supposed to be, which is in the field, and look at things like cover crops that help you cycle those nutrients and hold on to those, keep them in the field, reduce erosion, things like that. And so that's really where our focus lies. But yeah, the goal again being trying to provide every individual farmer with value that does work with us directly, but then also provide those who don't, knowledge through the publication that we release annually, which, is the aggregate of those farmers who do work with us.
Great. I guess one final quick question. You seem very passionate about the practices and helping farmers figure this stuff out and change what they're doing to be a more positive impact on the environment. Talk to me about your why. Like, why are you passionate about this space?
As an engineer, I'm passionate about problem solving. And so for me, it was always like, wow, what bigger problem to work on than like a state level nutrient issue? And how do I work with a program that was kind of already, up and going when I joined, but just make it more effective, remove barriers from it working well, and try to remove those barriers for farmers. So, I look at that as just, my job is tearing down barriers and working on a big complex problem. And that's really what drives me. I'm very passionate about it. I'm also, a recreational boater in my spare time. And so water quality tends to be a pretty big issue when you're trying to enjoy freshwater lakes and things. And, love that. I think, I just want everybody else to be able to experience the same thing, and for us to be able to grow food across the landscape and completely minimize the environmental externalities of that. And so, yeah, that's kind of what drives me.
I really love this program, and as another member of Illinois Corn, another staff member, I just think it's so important that our farmers really understand that this PCM program was created by farmers to address a problem. And so farmers are treated really as a priority as a member of the PCM project, our PCM program. So the farmers that created the program set it up so that farmer data is protected, so that farmers are really getting what they need out of the program. And then I also really love that the aggregated data helps serve all farmers, not just farmers who are in the program. So just to kind of summarize some of the pieces that I heard, I think those are the take homes and the things that I feel really proud of as an Illinois Corn staff member. And I just thank you so much, Greg, for your work in bringing all of those really great products to fruition for farmers individually and for farmers as a whole.
My pleasure. Couldn't agree with that more.
Now let's move on to part 2, not to be corny, but did you know big data comes from big fields? PCM analyzes data from over 500,000 acres of farmland. Imagine a farm this size of over 500,000 football fields. That's roughly the amount of land PCM analyzes data from. This vast amount of data allows us to see trends and patterns that might not be evident on smaller farms. What do you think of that, Greg?
That's amazing. Yeah, agreed. A lot of power in that big data. It only comes from big fields. And small, but lots of them.
This has been another episode of Illinois Corn TV. We deliver insightful ag interviews that position Illinois farmers to grow. Stay tuned for more content every week, and be sure to subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you next week.